Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's gonna fight this to the end. He's innocent.
That was Diddy's lawyer, trying to stay positive after a fiery session with the jury. Apparently, one juror had an outburst during the hearing, but that's not all. Word is, there are people behind the scenes working overtime to make sure Diddy gets locked up, no matter what. He's made a lot of enemies over the years, and now it's all catching up. This isn't just a trial anymore, it's an all-out war. So let's break it all down. Jury reacts to evidence against Diddy. The courtroom was straight up sizzling with tension in that Manhattan federal spot where potential jurors were getting grilled during the selection process for Sean Diddy Combs' high-profile case. What started as your regular jury picking turned into a full-blown jaw-dropping scene that's setting the vibe for what the legal heads are calling one of the most fire celebrity trials we've seen in a minute. The hip-hop mogul, usually cool as ice when the cameras are rolling, found himself facing something he couldn't flex on: the raw, unfiltered reactions of everyday folks when they peeped the evidence against him. At least 4 potential jurors had already caught that viral surveillance footage supposedly showing Diddy putting hands on his ex-girl Cassie Ventura in a hotel hallway back in 2016. Their reactions were all over the place, from trying to stay neutral to straight up shocked, with one juror calling the footage damning evidence while still acknowledging the whole innocent until proven guilty thing. Another potential juror said the video was shocking and scary, showing how that footage hit different when people saw it with their own eyes. The courtroom drama got real when Diddy's lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, started sweating over one juror calling the video damning, thinking they might already be biased against his client. This back and forth led to the juror getting the boot, highlighting how tough it is to find people who haven't already made up their minds on a case that's been blowing up everyone's social feeds. What's wild is how all this drama popped off before the trial even officially started. May 12, 2025 marks the real deal, beginning with the jury now locked in and opening statements about to drop. The selection process that kicked off on May 5th has been mad complicated because everyone and their mama knows about this case, forcing the court to use a crazy 120 question survey to screen potential jurors and keep them anonymous to shield them from all the media noise. The man in the hot seat, Sean Diddy Combs, admitted to being a little nervous during jury selection, which is not what you'd expect from the usually confident bad boy boss. Throughout the whole thing, people noticed him trying to keep his usual swagger, nodding and smiling at potential jurors, even having a moment with a black female juror who mentioned her sister's battle with addiction. This innocent-looking exchange hits different when you consider the serious charges Diddy's facing now. We're talking racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges that could have him locked down for life if the jury isn't feeling his defense. The contrast between Diddy's baller image and these heavy accusations has everyone glued to their screens waiting to see how this plays out. Cassie Ventura's role in this whole legal drama can't be downplayed. Her expected testimony as victim 1 inch in the indictment is the backbone of the prosecution's case. After rocking with Diddy for over a decade, from 2007 to 2018, Ventura's 2023 civil lawsuit against him, though settled quick fast, set off a chain reaction that led to the federal charges we're seeing now. Her allegations include being forced into sexual activities with male sex workers during what were called freak-offs, which are central to the sex trafficking charges Diddy's now facing. The prosecution's case is looking solid with that concrete evidence, especially that surveillance video from 2016 that the judge is allowing to be shown during the trial. Legal experts, including former federal prosecutor Neema Rahmani, say Ventura's testimony could be damaging and the best and most effective for the prosecution, since she was there firsthand and that video backs up her story. What makes this even more significant is that any NDAs from their settlement can't stop her from testifying in this criminal case. In what looks like a strategic countermove, Diddy's defense squad plans to claim there was mutual violence throughout his relationship with Ventura, suggesting she was also getting physical with him. But legal heads point out that such claims probably won't cancel out the coercion allegations that are central to sex trafficking charges, especially considering the power imbalance that was likely at play. The jury makeup is going to be crucial in determining how all this evidence hits. After a careful selection process that faced delays, including pushing back the final phase from May 9th to May 12th, the jury has finally been locked in. This delay, requested by the defense and granted by Judge Arun Subramanian despite the prosecution's objections, was meant to prevent selected jurors from dropping out over the weekend. It made sure that a pool of 45 potential jurors could be narrowed down to the final 12 jurors and 6 alternates, now tasked with deciding if Diddy's gonna walk or do time. The public interest in this case is so crazy that people were actually paying others to hold their spots in line outside the Manhattan Manhattan courthouse just to get in. Court officers had to escort juror candidates through separate entrances to protect them from protesters and media influence, showing the extreme measures being taken to keep the trial legit. The timing of this trial is hitting different, coming when the culture is having a major reckoning about power, consent, and holding people accountable in the entertainment industry. Diddy's case isn't happening in isolation, but against the backdrop of increased scrutiny of powerful figures and how they move. The allegations against him span decades, with some claims going back to the 90s, suggesting a pattern of behavior that allegedly went unchecked because of his status and juice in the industry. While Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all charges and maintains his innocence, the sheer volume of allegations presents a major challenge to his defense. Beyond the federal charges, he's facing over 60 civil lawsuits alleging various forms of misconduct, including claims involving minors. The youngest alleged victim is reported to be just 9 years old, according to statements from lawyer Tony Busby, who represents 120 accusers, including 25 minors. These lawsuits paint a disturbing picture of alleged behavior spanning decades. For instance, one lawsuit claims a 10-year-old boy was drugged and victimized during an audition, with Diddy allegedly threatening the child's parents to keep them quiet. Another accuser, who was 16 at the time, alleges Diddy ordered him to undress at a 1998 party in the Hamptons. Two additional lawsuits filed in October 2024 accused Diddy of inappropriate behavior with 10 and 17-year-old boys, allegedly promising them stardom in the music industry. The allegations go beyond sexual misconduct to include claims of emotional mistreatment and coercion. Multiple accusers allege Diddy used his industry clout to manipulate and silence victims, creating a climate of fear. Some describe being coerced through financial dependence and promises of music industry success, only to allegedly find themselves in exploitative situations. Fan reactions to these developments have been all over the place, with opinions varying widely on social media platforms like X and Reddit. Many users believe Diddy will face serious consequences, with some predicting he'll be locked up for life given the scale of allegations. For example, one Reddit user suggested the 120 allegations reported are only those with trial evidence, potentially indicating thousands more over 3 decades. Another noted that a lawyer had mentioned having over 3,000 accusers planning lawsuits. However, skepticism remains among some observers. One Reddit user expressed doubt about the likelihood of conviction, noting that guilty rich people often escape conviction, and suggesting they wouldn't be surprised if Diddy walks free. Others have voiced concerns about transparency, with some demanding the release of documents to expose anyone else who might be involved, fearing a repeat of the Epstein situation where many questions were left unanswered. The defense has consistently maintained Diddy's innocence, with his attorney stating that he didn't do these things and characterizing the situation as someone who brought a civil case and now is finding themselves as a witness in a criminal case. This narrative attempts to frame the allegations as being about the bag rather than reflecting criminal conduct, as prosecutors prepare to present their case, starting with brief testimonies from 2 witnesses before moving on to what is expected to be Cassie Ventura's extensive testimony later in the week. The stakes couldn't be higher. The outcome of this trial will not only determine Diddy's personal fate, but potentially change the game when it comes to holding people accountable in the entertainment industry. The trial, expected to last several weeks, will unfold under intense scrutiny, with every development likely to spark further debate about celebrity, power, and justice. For Diddy, who once dominated headlines for his business moves and lavish lifestyle, the courtroom has become an entirely different stage, one where his freedom is on the line, powerful connections behind his empire building. Long before Sean, Diddy Combs found himself caught up in legal drama. He was widely recognized as one of entertainment's most successful hustlers, a man who masterfully leveraged his status and connections to build a multifaceted business empire from the ground up. His journey from music producer to business mogul is a textbook case of how influence, carefully cultivated relationships, and strategic networking can flip fame into serious fortune. Understanding how Diddy built his empire gives us crucial context for understanding the full scope of his current situation. Perhaps the most fire example of Diddy's ability to monetize his influence comes from his partnership with Ciroc Vodka. When Combs locked down a 50/50th profit-sharing deal with spirits giant Diageo in 2007, Ciroc was struggling hard, with sales volume reportedly less than 3% of what competitor Grey Goose was pushing at the time. To put this in perspective, if Grey Goose was moving approximately 2 million cases annually, Ciroc's sales would have been under 60,000 cases, barely making a dent in the premium vodka game. What happened next became legendary in the marketing world. Through Diddy's cosign and his strategic deployment of celebrity connections, Ciroc transformed from a bottom-shelf brand into a cultural phenomenon. Sales skyrocketed to over 2.5 million cases annually in the years that followed, a crazy increase that showed the real-world value of Diddy's influence and network. He pulled off this remarkable glow-up by positioning Ciroc as the luxury vodka of choice in hip-hop culture, making sure it was featured heavy in music videos, social media flexes, and VIP sections at clubs where celebrities naturally gathered. The Ciroc K-Rock's success story wasn't just about Diddy's star power alone. He strategically collaborated with other celebrities to amplify the brand's reach and cultural impact. For instance, in 2016, he signed DJ Khaled as a brand ambassador, specifically to push a new mango flavor, while in 2017, he linked with French Montana to launch a French vanilla variant. These collaborations weren't just celebrity endorsements, they represented a sophisticated approach to expanding K-Rock's market penetration by connecting it with multiple influential figures whose audiences didn't completely overlap with Diddy's own. Beyond the liquor game, Diddy applied similar principles to his fashion brand, Sean John. Launched in the late 1990s, Sean John became a cultural staple, with annual retail sales reportedly reaching a crazy $450 million at its peak. The brand's success stemmed from Diddy's ability to make it synonymous with aspirational urban lifestyle, a positioning strengthened through his own visibility and strategic celebrity endorsements. Though he later sold a majority stake for $70 million in 2016, his subsequent buyback of the brand for $7.55 million in 2021 after it faced bankruptcy demonstrates his continued belief in its value and potential. Diddy's business portfolio expanded further through ventures like his partnership with actor Mark Wahlberg and investor Ronald Burkle in Aqua Hydrate, a fitness water brand, and his investment in Play VS, which focused on high school esports. These diverse investments shared a common thread. They leveraged Diddy's access to influential networks and his understanding of cultural trends to create business opportunities that might have remained off limits to entrepreneurs lacking his connections. Perhaps no aspect of Diddy's empire-building strategy was more effective than his legendary white parties, held annually from 1998 to 2009. These weren't just regular functions, they were masterclasses in strategic networking, attended by an insane lineup of A-list celebrities, including Justin Bieber, Mariah Carey, Paris Hilton, Jennifer Lopez, Jay-Z, Beyonce, and many others. These events positioned Diddy at the center of entertainment, fashion, and business power networks. The cultural impact of these gatherings went way beyond mere socializing. They established Diddy as a connector of influential people, facilitating relationships that likely supported his various business moves. The exclusive nature of these events, combined with their high visibility in media, enhanced Diddy's personal brand as someone who could bring together power players from diverse spheres, a reputation that undoubtedly opened doors to business opportunities that would have been closed to others. Diddy continued this tradition of high-profile hosting with events like his 50th birthday bash in 2019, which was tellingly presented by K-Rock Vodka. His roles hosting the 2005 MTV Video Music Awards and the 2022 Billboard Music Awards, along with appearances on influential platforms like Oprah Winfrey's show, further cemented his position as a cultural tastemaker with unparalleled connections. The strategic value of these networking opportunities cannot be overstated. When Diddy was looking for partnerships, endorsements, or investments, he wasn't coming at potential collaborators as a stranger, but as someone with whom they had shared exclusive experiences. This familiarity likely lowered barriers to business relationships that might otherwise have been harder to establish. The business world often operates on the principle that deals happen between people who know each other, and Diddy made sure he knew everyone who mattered in the game. Diddy's influence extended beyond commercial ventures into philanthropy, often involving collaborations with other celebrities that further strengthened these relationships while serving worthy causes. In 2005, he and Jay-Z jointly pledged $1 million to support Hurricane Katrina victims, demonstrating how his network could be mobilized for social impact. His contributions to education, including donations of computers and books to New York schools, and the establishment of the Sean Combs Scholarship Fund at Howard University with a $1 million contribution in 2016, showcased the breadth of his influence. His Vote or Die campaign during the 2004 presidential election represented another dimension of his influence, using his celebrity status to encourage voter participation alongside other influential figures. These efforts not only enhanced his public image, but also deepened his connections with powerful individuals across entertainment and politics, creating a virtuous cycle where increased influence led to more opportunities to exercise and expand that influence. However, the very influence that enabled Diddy's remarkable business success has become a central aspect of the allegations against him. Multiple lawsuits, including the one settled with Cassie Ventura in November 2023, accuse him of using his power to control and mistreat individuals. Ventura's lawsuit alleged years of misconduct facilitated by what was described as Diddy's tremendously loyal network that allegedly intimidated her when she tried to leave the relationship. The current federal charges against Diddy include allegations that he used his business ventures and associates to enable concerning activities, including the now notorious freak-off parties where guests were reportedly coerced into sexual acts. The indictment portrays a troubling picture of how business structures allegedly served as vehicles for exploitation rather than legitimate enterprise. The repercussions for Diddy's business empire have been swift and severe. 18 companies reportedly cut ties with his Empower Global platform in 2023, and in a particularly significant blow, Diageo ended its partnership with Combs in 2024, buying out his stake in DeLeon Tequila for $200 million. Kyrox sales in North America dropped by an alarming 28% in 2023, a decline attributed directly to the reputational damage Combs has suffered as allegations mounted. This dramatic reversal of fortune highlights the fundamental fragility of celebrity-driven brands. The same connections and influence that propelled Diddy to extraordinary heights have become liabilities as former associates distance themselves from the controversy. The business empire he built through decades of careful relationship cultivation now faces an existential threat as partners reassess the value and potential risks of maintaining connections with him. Inside the controversial freak-off parties, at the center of the federal case against Sean Diddy Combs, lies perhaps the most wild and disturbing element of this whole saga, the infamous freak-off parties. These functions, completely different from Diddy's well-known and celebrity-filled white parties, have become the main focus of the prosecution's case and got everybody talking. To really understand the charges Diddy's facing now, you gotta know what allegedly went down at these gatherings. According to the federal indictment, these weren't your regular turn-ups, but private multi-day events allegedly organized by Combs that involved elaborate sexual performances. The gatherings reportedly featured male and female commercial sex workers, with Combs directing and often participating in the activities. What makes these parties particularly relevant to the current charges is the allegation that they were often recorded, creating evidence of what went down. The logistical details alleged in court documents paint a picture of meticulously planned events. Prosecutors claim these gatherings took place in hotel rooms specifically stocked with narcotics, including ketamine and cocaine, baby oil, lubricants, and extra linens. Special lighting was reportedly arranged for the purpose of recording the activities. Combs' associates allegedly provided support by arranging travel, paying the sex workers, and even scheduling post-event intravenous fluid treatments to help participants recover from physical exertion and drug use. It's mad important to distinguish these private gatherings from Combs' famous white parties, which were high-profile social events in the Hamptons, attended by numerous celebrities including Mariah Carey and Leonardo DiCaprio. Some reports suggest that the freak-offs actually began after A-list celebrities departed from these more public gatherings, transitioning into more secretive activities that remained hidden from public view. The prosecution's allegations regarding these parties extend far beyond claims of consensual adult activities. Prosecutors allege that Combs used force, threats, and coercion to make victims participate. The indictment details instances where Combs allegedly abused, threatened, and coerced women to fulfill his sexual desires and conceal his conduct. This element of alleged coercion is crucial to the sex trafficking charges Combs faces. Physical violence reportedly accompanied these events, with victims allegedly suffering mistreatment, including hitting, kicking, and having objects thrown at them. These actions purportedly resulted in injuries that sometimes took weeks to heal. One specific incident highlighted in court documents occurred in 2016 at a Los Angeles hotel where Combs allegedly assaulted a victim. Prosecutors claim video evidence of this incident was later obtained through a $100,000 bribe to hotel staff, suggesting efforts to control evidence that might document such behavior. The alleged use of controlled substances at these events adds another troubling dimension. Prosecutors claim that drugs including cocaine, ketamine, and others were distributed to keep victims compliant. The use of these substances was reportedly so extensive that participants, including Combs himself, required intravenous fluid treatment afterward, a detail that suggests the extreme nature of what allegedly transpired. Perhaps most disturbing are allegations regarding non-consensual recording. The indictment claims that Combs recorded sexual acts, sometimes without victims' knowledge or consent, and kept these videos. This raises significant ethical and legal concerns about privacy violations and potential exploitation of vulnerable individuals. The freak-off parties are linked in the indictment to broader allegations of a criminal enterprise. The prosecution lists various racketeering activities allegedly connected to these events, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and narcotics distribution. These activities purportedly span from 2004 to 2024, with the freak-offs serving as a key component of this alleged criminal operation. Evidence seized during searches of Combs' cribs in Miami and Los Angeles in March 2024 reportedly provides physical corroboration for some of these claims. Authorities seized over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants, narcotics including cocaine, oxycodone, and methamphetamine, and firearms, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers. Prosecutors point to these items as supporting evidence of the supplies used in these parties. Diddy's legal team has vigorously disputed these characterizations, offering a dramatically different perspective on the nature of these gatherings. His defense claims that 9 videos provided by Victim 1, widely believed to be Cassandra Cassie Ventura, show fully consenting adults who appear happy, dominant, and in control. They argue these videos disprove allegations of coercion or trafficking, presenting a narrative of consensual adult activities rather than criminal behavior. In court filings, the defense has requested electronic copies of these videos, which are currently restricted to supervised viewing, to prepare for trial. They contend that the footage unambiguously demonstrates Combs' innocence of the charges against him. More broadly, Combs' attorneys have stated that he has never sexually assaulted anyone, adult or minor, man or woman, dismissing related lawsuits as publicity-seeking endeavors rather than legitimate claims. Several specific incidents and lawsuits provide additional context for understanding what allegedly went down at these gatherings. The indictment details the 2016 incident at a Los Angeles hotel, captured on video, where Combs allegedly bribed staff to secure footage of his behavior. Cassie Ventura's civil lawsuit, which was settled shortly after filing, alleged that Combs regularly mistreated her and coerced her into participating in freak-offs, described as drug-fueled, days-long sexual performances filmed for his pleasure. While this lawsuit was resolved, its allegations apparently informed the subsequent federal investigation. Additional lawsuits include claims of inappropriate behavior at Combs' parties. For example, an unnamed woman alleged misconduct at a hotel party, while Ashley Parham claimed she experienced mistreatment by multiple individuals, including Combs, allegedly as retaliation for comments about Tupac Shakur's murder. These cases suggest a pattern of concerning behavior at these events, though it's important to note that allegations remain unproven in court. As the legal process unfolds, Combs remains locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn awaiting trial. He has pleaded not guilty to 5 counts: racketeering conspiracy, covering 2004 to 2024, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, 2009 to 2018, transportation to engage in prostitution, 2009 to 2018, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, 2021 to 2024, and transportation to engage in prostitution, 2021 to 2024. The trial, which began with jury selection on May 5, 2025, and has opening statements scheduled for May 12, is expected to last approximately 2 months. The cultural impact of these allegations has been significant, particularly given Combs' status as an entertainment icon. His white parties were once celebrated as symbols of hip-hop, Hollywood, and black excellence, attended by figures ranging from entertainment royalty to business leaders and even Donald Trump. However, the current allegations have dramatically shifted public perception, with few A-list supporters publicly defending Combs, possibly due to concerns about their own reputations. A resurfaced 2002 interview with Conan O'Brien has further fueled speculation about the nature of Combs' parties. In this appearance, Combs jokingly described party tactics like locking doors and limiting air conditioning, comments that some now view as concerning in light of the current allegations. What might have seemed like harmless banter at the time has been reinterpreted through the lens of the serious accusations he now faces. The complexity of this situation is further highlighted by the varied reactions on social media platforms. Many Reddit users have expressed shock at the scale of the allegations, with one noting that "holy fuck" to reports of 3,000 accusers, the youngest allegedly 9 years old. This user helpfully provided resources like RAIN and the Human Trafficking Hotline for those affected by similar situations. Others have made unflattering comparisons, with one Reddit user calling Combs the Wayne Gretzky of sexual assault, a comment that, while crude, reflects the disgust many feel about the allegations. Some observers have expressed concerns about others who might have been involved in these activities. One Reddit user hoped others would go down with Diddy, implying he didn't act alone, while another suggested Diddy could get Epstein, comparing him to Jeffrey Epstein catering to wealthy clients. These comments reflect ongoing questions about who else might have participated in or known about these alleged activities, questions that may or may not be answered as the trial proceeds. The defense has consistently maintained Combs' innocence, with his attorney characterizing the situation as someone who brought a civil case and now is finding themselves as a witness in a criminal case. This narrative attempts to frame the allegations as being about the bag rather than reflecting criminal conduct. Whether this strategy will persuade the jury remains to be seen as the trial progresses. For those trying to understand how someone of Diddy's stature could allegedly engage in such behavior without earlier consequences, the answer likely lies in the power dynamics of the entertainment industry. Accusers claim that Combs used his influence to silence victims and create a climate of fear, with some describing being coerced through financial dependence and promises of music industry success. This alleged pattern mirrors similar situations that have come to light in other entertainment industry scandals, where power imbalances reportedly enabled misconduct to continue unchecked for years. As the trial moves forward, several key questions remain unanswered. Will more details emerge about who participated in or knew about these alleged freak-off parties? Will additional evidence surface to either support or contradict the prosecution's narrative about the nature of these gatherings? And perhaps most importantly, how will the jury interpret the evidence presented to them about events that allegedly occurred behind closed doors? Steve Harvey has become the latest celebrity to jump off the Diddy ship, according to reports. The comedian, who has a long history with the music mogul, has joined a list of other stars distancing themselves from Diddy, with threats of many new names to be revealed in his indictment. But the real questions we should be asking is, why wait until now to delete these incriminating tweets? tweets. In fact, why have stuff that can incriminate you on Twitter in the first place? Oh boy, I almost wish I didn't go down a rabbit hole trying to answer these questions, because what I found was horrifying. Check it out. Steve Harvey distances himself from Diddy. Steve Harvey and Sean Diddy Combs have shared a friendship that spans over a decade. Their bond, forged in the mid-2000s, has seen them support each other through various personal and professional milestones. Steve Harvey, known for his infectious humor and motivational speeches, often spoke highly of Diddy, praising his entrepreneurial spirit and philanthropic efforts. In 2017, Steve Harvey took to Twitter to commend Diddy, saying, "My brother at Diddy is doing a world of good for these kids." This tweet highlighted the mutual respect and admiration between the two men. Diddy, a music mogul and entrepreneur, has been involved in numerous charitable activities, particularly those aimed at uplifting underprivileged youth. His efforts in the community earned him accolades and the support of many high-profile friends, including Steve Harvey. The relationship between the Harvey family and Diddy deepened when rumors surfaced about a romantic link between Steve Harvey's daughter Lori Harvey and Diddy. Lori, a rising model and socialite, was often seen with Diddy at various high-profile events, sparking widespread speculation about their relationship. In the summer of 2019, Lori and Diddy were spotted vacationing together in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, and later in Italy, where they dined with Lori's parents. These outings, coupled with their matching outfits in Manhattan, fueled the rumors of a romantic relationship. However, the dynamics of this close-knit relationship took a dramatic turn when Diddy was arrested on charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, and other serious crimes. The allegations against Diddy, including claims from his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura of physical abuse and orchestrating drug-fueled sex parties, sent ripples through the entertainment industry. In light of these disturbing allegations, Steve Harvey made the decision to delete his tweet praising Diddy. This move was part of a larger trend, as many high-profile individuals began distancing themselves from Diddy to avoid any association with the scandal. The entertainment industry was in damage control mode, and Steve Harvey was no exception.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
For Steve Harvey, the decision to delete the tweet was not just about protecting his public image. It was also a reflection of his values and the importance he places on integrity. By erasing his public endorsement of Diddy, Harvey was making a clear statement. He would not stand by anyone accused of such heinous crimes. Steve Harvey's actions are part of a broader trend in the celebrity world, where legal troubles and scandals can quickly tarnish reputations. Celebrities often take precautionary steps to distance themselves from controversial figures to protect their own careers and public images. This brings us to pop star Usher, who is another huge celebrity trying to distance himself from the Diddy drama. It all started when Usher's Twitter account was mysteriously stripped of all its tweets, setting off a chain reaction of speculation and rumors. On September 22nd, fans noticed that Usher's Twitter account, now known as X, had been wiped clean, every single tweet gone without a trace. This sudden and unexplained action immediately caught the attention of social media users. Content creator Matt Wallace, known for his videos on Dogecoin cryptocurrency, was quick to weigh in. He tweeted, "Usher just deleted all of his tweets. The Diddy tapes are about to send hundreds of celebrities to prison." This post went viral, amassing nearly 40 million views and igniting a firestorm of speculation. Another viral post by @Julian Thomas added fuel to the fire. He shared an image of former NBA star Shaquille O'Neal standing behind a tree with the caption, "Usher thinking nobody was gonna see he deleted his entire tweet history #Diddy." This note received over 219,000 views, further intensifying the rumors. In an attempt to quell the growing speculation, Usher took to X to address the situation. He tweeted, "Account got hacked and damn y'all ran with it. See you tonight at Intuit Dome." Despite his denial, the damage was already done, and the internet continued to buzz with theories linking him to Diddy's controversy. Timing of Usher's tweet deletion couldn't have been more suspicious. It came on the heels of Sean Diddy Combs' arrest, as the disgraced mogul faces serious charges and a potential prison sentence of up to 15 years. The coincidence was too much for many to ignore, and the speculation only grew. Adding to the intrigue, a 2016 interview with Howard Stern resurfaced, in which Usher spoke about his time living with Diddy at the age of 13. He said, "I got a chance to see some things. I went there to see the lifestyle, and I saw it." These comments, once seen as harmless anecdotes, now took on a more sinister tone in light of the recent events. As the controversy surrounding Usher and Diddy continued to escalate, a new and shocking layer was added to the story. American singer Jaguar Wright made explosive allegations in a recently surfaced TikTok video, dragging both Usher and Diddy into a scandal involving none other than Justin Bieber. In a video posted by ex-user Shadow of Ezra, Jaguar Jaguar Wright claimed that Diddy had been trying to gain control over a young Justin Bieber for some time. According to Wright, Diddy faced resistance from Bieber's management, but everything changed when Usher stepped in. Wright stated,
Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute, and his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
The allegations were nothing short of shocking. Wright suggested that Usher, who had discovered and mentored Bieber, played a pivotal role in handing the young singer over to Diddy. She continued, he's already been to the hospital, that situation Gene was talking about, and you still took Bieber there. Wright referred to a situation involving Diddy being accused of grooming Usher by his ex-bodyguard, Gene Deal. She added, you got the custody first, and he had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Wright further explained,
Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy is really like. The video concluded with Wright saying they did not see the intentions were in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there. The internet erupted in response to Wright's claims. Fans and followers were left reeling, wondering the true nature of Usher's involvement with Diddy and Bieber. The allegations painted a disturbing picture, one that cast a shadow over Usher's previously untarnished reputation. Meanwhile, according to attorney Tony Busby, representing over 100 alleged victims for Diddy, more big shots in the entertainment industry should be worried as names of those who participated in Diddy's freak-offs will start rolling soon. In a press conference held in Houston, Busby warned that the day will come when he names the other alleged perpetrators and bystanders associated with Combs' illegal activities. He emphasized that they will expose the enablers who allowed this conduct to continue behind closed doors and pursue the matter no matter who the evidence implicates. Busby's statements have sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. He revealed that half of the alleged victims he is representing are male and that the alleged sexual assaults took place across different states, with the majority in New York, California, Georgia, and Florida, beginning as early as 1991. Busby claimed that the assaults took place at Diddy's annual white parties, hotels, and many other places, with 25 of the accusers being minors at the time. He claimed the youngest alleged victim was just 9 years old. He said many of the accusers claimed they were drugged, with allegations of horse tranquilizer being found in their systems after the parties they were brought to or attended. This revelation adds another layer of horror to the already disturbing allegations. The initial reactions from the celebrity world have been a mix of shock, silence, and denial. Many high-profile celebrities who have been linked to Diddy in the past have remained tight-lipped about the scandal. Some have even gone as far as deleting their social media posts, raising further speculation about their involvement. One of the most talked about aspects of this scandal is the so-called Diddy list. Similar to the infamous Epstein list, the Diddy list is a list of names, all celebrities, with links to Diddy and his freak-off sessions. The list has been circulating online, featuring names like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, Howard Stern, Russell Brand, Mariah Carey, Jennifer Lopez, Russell Simmons, Usher, and Megan Fox. The list has gone viral, with the public eagerly speculating about the extent of these celebrities' involvement in Diddy's controversial parties. The public's response to the Diddy list has been one of shock and disbelief. The idea that such high-profile and beloved celebrities could be linked to such a scandalous and disturbing case has left many people reeling. The fear and uncertainty surrounding this scandal are palpable, as more names are expected to be revealed in the coming days. The dark reality of Diddy's freak-off parties. As sexual abuse and trafficking accusations continue to mount against Sean Diddy Combs, attention has turned to his infamous white parties. Several victims now claim that these exclusive events, celebrated for their opulence, were a setting where the music mogul allegedly forced them into participating in sexual acts with guests. Adult entertainer Adria Sherry English, who recently filed a lawsuit against Combs, has come forward as one of the accusers, stating that during her time as a hired dancer in the early 2000s, she was subjected to coerced sexual activities at these gatherings. English revealed that Diddy's white parties, lavish events with a strict all-white dress code, were held in the Hamptons, a luxurious New York seaside locale favored by the rich and famous. While these parties attracted high-profile celebrities, influencers, and athletes, English claims they also harbored a far more sinister reality. English's lawsuit alleges that beyond the outward display of glamour, these gatherings were plagued by drug-fueled sexual exploitation. According to her, Diddy exerted his influence and power over her, coercing her into explicit encounters. English stated that refusing him felt impossible, as he had promised to help advance her music career, a promise that turned into manipulation. Drugs and alcohol, she claims, were central to breaking down the participants' inhibitions, with some bottles of liquor reportedly spiked with illicit substances intended to impair judgment. English further described how the effects of these drugs were so potent that she often could not remember how she left the parties or made it home. She alleged that the most explicit activities took place late at night, after many guests had left. These encounters occurred in private rooms, guarded by security personnel to ensure secrecy. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Diddy's white parties attracted a dazzling array of celebrities. Famous attendees included Paris Hilton, Leonardo DiCaprio, Chris Brown, Kim Kardashian, Ashton Kutcher, and many more. Despite the exclusive guest list, there is no direct evidence that any of these celebrities participated in or were aware of Diddy's alleged illegal activities. However, recent scrutiny surrounding Diddy's arrest has reignited interest in the parties, with old photos and videos resurfacing across the internet. These images show Hollywood elites enjoying the festivities. Alongside the embattled mogul, Ashton Kutcher, for instance, was captured hanging from a chain in one photograph, while Khloe Kardashian was seen socializing with Darius D. Mac Rogers in another. Interestingly, Diddy himself once revealed in an interview that Leonardo DiCaprio was his favorite attendee at these parties. In a video clip, Diddy responds without hesitation when asked who tops his guest list, stating Leonardo DiCaprio.
And the white party's coming back this year, by the way, for charity.
Yeah, it's great to hear, and I'm sure that's probably not public information yet, but who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
Yes,
right?
without a doubt, you are invited.
Former music industry insider Tom Swoop shared his perspective on Diddy's parties, claiming that there were different levels of access for guests. According to Swoop, after the general crowd had enjoyed the surface-level festivities, only a select few were invited to the real party that took place behind closed doors. If this is what goes on behind the curtain, and you're all comfortable with this, nah, I don't want this life, Swoop said, implying that many attendees were aware of the darker aspects of these events, but chose to turn a blind eye. Swoop highlighted that the alleged activities were not isolated incidents, suggesting that celebrities in attendance were complicit in their silence. It's worth noting that Diddy himself seemed aware of the controversy surrounding his extravagant parties. In a 1999 interview with Entertainment Tonight, he made a striking prediction, saying, "They're going to probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things, just because we want to have a good time." He explained that people tend to feel threatened when their social norms are challenged, a comment that now carries a different weight in light of the accusations against him. Despite the resurfacing stories and allegations, there has yet to be any definitive evidence linking the celebrities who attended Diddy's white parties to the alleged illegal activities. Still, the mounting lawsuits and disturbing revelations cast a shadow over what were once considered some of the most glamorous events in the entertainment industry. As more victims step forward and investigations continue, the legacy of Diddy's white parties seems to be transforming from tales of luxury and celebrity into a darker, more troubling narrative. Good Friday's chilling recollection paints a vivid picture of the harrowing experience she endured as a teenager, caught in the unsettling atmosphere of one of Sean Diddy Combs' notorious freak-off parties. After being invited to his exclusive hotel Bash in Toronto, where free drugs, alcohol, and candy were offered to young women, Friday quickly found herself in a situation far more dangerous than she had anticipated. The artist claimed that guests at the party openly engaged in sexual acts, and that Diddy personally selected partygoers to attend a more intimate freak-off in a nearby VIP suite. When Friday lost sight of her friend, a sense of panic set in, and she attempted to leave the hotel. However, her exit was blocked by a security guard who forcefully restrained her, insisting she stay. The fear of being taken advantage of by older men who were aggressively trying to touch her only heightened her distress. The situation escalated further when she saw Diddy himself approaching her, emerging from the VIP room. As he made his way toward her, Friday frantically pressed the elevator button, praying for it to arrive before he could reach her. "He was kind of running towards me," she said, recalling the terrifying look on his face, which made her feel as though she was in serious trouble for even trying to leave. Fortunately, the elevator arrived in time, allowing her to escape what could have been a far worse encounter. In an exclusive interview with the U.S. Sun, Friday expressed how deeply shaken she was by the experience. Now, with multiple lawsuits filed against Diddy by alleged sexual abuse victims and his recent arrest, she feels compelled to speak out and seek justice, both for herself and others who may have suffered similar fates. Friday's connection to Diddy began earlier that same year when she and a friend attended an autograph signing event in July. July 1999 to celebrate the release of his second studio album, Forever. As part of a girl group at the time, Friday and her friend performed for Diddy after he arrived late to the event. It was then that his interest in her became clear. He made his move, hitting on me, commenting on my beautiful eyes and complexion, Friday recalled. Diddy soon whispered to his security guard and invited both Friday and her friend to his hotel, promising a star-studded after-party with other artists in attendance. When Friday told him they were only 16 years old, Diddy brushed off the concern, saying, "Oh, it's okay. I don't check IDs at my parties." Despite her initial hesitation and unease over Diddy's behavior, Friday ultimately agreed to attend the party at her friend's insistence, believing it might be a valuable opportunity for networking. Little did she know that the night would take such a dark and disturbing turn. With the legal drinking age in Toronto set at 19 and the age of consent being 16, both still in place today, the event highlighted the predatory nature of the party and the danger faced by underage girls attending these exclusive gatherings. Now, as more victims come forward, Friday's story adds to the growing chorus of voices speaking out against the music mogul. Diddy's damning criminal dealings. The world of entertainment was rocked when news broke of Sean Diddy Combs' arrest on September 24th, 2024. The music mogul, known for his larger-than-life persona and influence in the industry, faced a series of damning accusations that painted a chilling picture of his alleged criminal activities. The indictment, unsealed by federal prosecutors, revealed a web of allegations that included sex trafficking, sexual abuse, and sending shockwaves through the entertainment world and beyond. The initial accusations against Combs were nothing short of shocking. Federal agents arrested him in New York after months of civil lawsuits had been filed, accusing him of orchestrating a criminal enterprise that preyed on vulnerable individuals. The indictment alleged that Combs, along with his associates, engaged in a pattern of threatening, abusing, and coercing women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires. These acts were not isolated incidents, but part of a larger, more sinister operation that Combs allegedly masterminded. Central to the indictment were the allegations of freakouts, a term used to describe the recorded sexual activities that Combs allegedly forced his victims to engage in. These events were not just casual encounters, but elaborate performances involving commercial sex workers, meticulously arranged and directed by Combs himself. The indictment claimed that Combs used his power and influence within the entertainment industry to lure female victims into his circle, often under the guise of romantic relationships. Once under his control, Combs allegedly used force, threats, and coercion to involve these victims in the freakouts. The indictment further detailed how Combs' associates played a crucial role in facilitating these events. They were responsible for logistics, such as booking hotel rooms, stocking supplies like controlled substances, baby oil, and lighting, and even cleaning up after the events to hide any evidence of the illicit activities. Law enforcement reportedly found supplies, including narcotics and over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant during searches of Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles in 2024. These findings added weight to the allegations and painted a grim picture of the extent of Combs' alleged criminal enterprise. The indictment also highlighted the methods Combs allegedly used to maintain control over his victims. It described a pattern of physical, emotional, and verbal abuse, coupled with promises of career advancement and financial support. Victims were reportedly subjected to violent physical assaults, including being hit, kicked, and dragged, leaving injuries that often took days or weeks to heal. Combs allegedly threatened their careers and used incriminating recordings from the freakouts to ensure their continued obedience and silence. The allegations did not stop there. The indictment accused Combs of employing further intimidation tactics, including carrying firearms. Combs himself reportedly brandished firearms on multiple occasions to threaten victims and witnesses. During the 2024 searches of his properties, law enforcement discovered illegal firearms, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers. These discoveries underscored the seriousness of the allegations and the lengths to which Combs allegedly went to maintain his control and silence his victims. As the details of the indictment emerged, the world watched in disbelief. The allegations against Sean Diddy Combs were not just shocking, they were a damning indictment of a man who allegedly used his power and influence to exploit and abuse those around him. Rodney Jones Jr., better known as Lil Rod, who filed a suit against Diddy, provided crucial insights into the inner workings of the operation. From September 2022 to November 2023, Jones was deeply involved in the production of Diddy's Love album, contributing to 9 songs on the project. At first, the work environment appeared to be a dream come true for Jones. Collaborating with a renowned music mogul, he was gaining priceless experience and industry exposure, but it wasn't long before things took a dark darker turn. Jones soon found himself witnessing and enduring situations that went well beyond his responsibilities as a producer. Jones discovered that Combs had hidden cameras in every room of his homes. He believes that Combs has recordings of individuals, such as Lucian Charles Grange, Ethiopia Haptemariam, as well as other celebrities, music label executives, politicians, and athletes. According to Jones, these individuals were recorded without their knowledge or consent. Similar to the homosexual sex tape of Stevie J that Combs provided to Jones, it is believed that Combs possesses compromising footage of every person who attended his freak-off parties and house parties. Jones suggests that this trove of compromising material makes Combs feel untouchable, believing he is above the law. It is believed that Combs employs Jose Cruz as his IT director, who allegedly manages all of Combs' recordings. Former employees of Combs have confirmed that Cruz is the gatekeeper to these recordings. Cruz reportedly stays out of sight, avoiding social media and the internet to hide his involvement in recording incriminating acts for Combs. This level of secrecy and control over the recordings further underscores the lengths to which Combs allegedly went to maintain his power and influence. Throughout his time with Combs, Jones was transported between California, New York, Florida, and the United States Virgin Islands. During these trips, he was forced to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts for Combs' pleasure. On February 4th, 2023, Combs allegedly forced Jones to bring prostitutes and sex workers back to his home in Miami. Around February 2nd, 2023, Jones believes he was drugged by Combs. He recalls waking up naked, feeling dizzy and confused, in bed with 2 sex workers and Combs. He also remembers wandering aimlessly around the house without clothes. On Thanksgiving night of 2022 in Miami, Combs asked Jones and DeForest Taylor to join him in the studio bathroom and requested a $100 bill to do cocaine. Although Jones didn't have the money, Combs later did cocaine with Young Miami. That same evening, Combs required Jones to recruit sex workers from Trap on the River, a strip club in Miami. Jones complied, and Combs forced him to engage in unwanted sexual acts with the workers. To aid in recruitment, Combs gave Jones an exclusive bad boy baseball cap and required him to wear it as a signal to the sex workers that Combs was in town and had sent Jones to recruit them. Although Jones had no desire to visit Trap or solicit sex workers, Combs used his power and influence to intimidate and force him into these actions. The sex workers reportedly knew to recognize the cap as a sign that Combs was in town. The role of Combs' associates in these alleged criminal activities cannot be understated. They were not just facilitators, but active participants who helped orchestrate and cover up the illicit operations. Their involvement highlights the extent of the alleged criminal enterprise and the lengths to which Combs and his associates went to maintain their control and silence their victims. For more content like this, click on the video showing on your screen now.